Hi, welcome to After School Hours. You're here with
Miranda Hogg
and Maria DeRosas, brought to you by Mr. Caldron's 21st Century Media class. So Maria, how have you been?
I've been good. How have you been, Miranda?
I've been good. I have a question for you.
All right, go
How
ahead.
do you think technology has helped us evolve?
Well, technology has allowed us to push new boundaries and further our existence here on this planet. I mean, we go back to the beginning where all we had was a ball or a wheel that has allowed us to transport new objects, food, needs that we obviously need to survive. We move on to like the steel industry that's allowed us to build new things, or the printing press that's allowed us to communicate with thousands of new peoples. And yet again, we move on to the internet and Wi-Fi and Instagram, Facebook, no matter the fact that it's social media, it still allows us to communicate with thousands of people we probably would have never met without it. And without these kinds of technologies, we wouldn't have these industries that we have now that people probably would have never thought about back in the day. And the fact that we're in space, I mean, that right there proves my point that technology has obviously helped us evolve. I mean, we could learn new things about there. For all we know, centuries from now, space could just be like, oh yeah, space, I went there for the weekend.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, 100%.
Thank you. Alright. So, with this technology and the conversation, it's often completely, especially in the movie industry, brought up as shown through robots. So before we go into that conversation, why don't we quickly define what a robot is? What do you think a robot is? What's the definition of a robot?
A robot is a machine resembling a human being and being able to replicate certain human movements and functions automatically.
Brought to you by Google. And there you go, another source of technology that has helped us. All right.
Helps it with everything.
It really does. All right, so with topic of robots and technology in mind, we also tend to think about social media and just the ability to constantly communicate and connect with others. So having this in mind, how do you think that has affected our self-esteem?
I feel like
Continue.
I'm not sure like how it would affect our self-esteem, but like with like social media and like being able to like contact certain people, I feel like you going on the internet to be able to find people that could like that can relate to you is like pretty upsetting, because that means like you're not comfortable talking to people from outside the screen, and like you can't find yourself like opening up to others because you're afraid of like getting judged, and you're afraid of like opening yourself up to that all of that vulnerability. I can't even say it.
Vulnerabilities?
Yeah. And like I just find that really upsetting.
I mean, being vulnerable, I think, has always been something hard to do. I mean, you're being vulnerable, you're opening yourself to others. But I do believe that social media has allowed us to be more vulnerable in certain aspects, of course. I mean, people are obviously feel more empowered because they tend to find their own little knit communities where they're all just talk about the same things they all agree around, and they'll just concentrate on that one thing. I mean, you could literally go online and find and communicate for some of the strangest things. Probably look online right now, we could probably find like community about pickles and how much everyone loves pickles.
Yeah.
And then the next day, or just maybe another click away, you could find a group that completely hates pickles, thinks it should be eliminated. You never know.
Yeah. I feel like people online are more open-minded and more like what's the word?
Inclusive?
More like
understanding?
Yeah. And like they're more open to learning new things and learning other people's side than like you trying to find it face to face with somebody, because then like, you know.
I'm not sure how I feel about the internet being more inclusive, but I do think it's easier to find someone who will include you into their community. It's just thousands of opinions, thousands of statements just constantly being posted. Personally, has it affected your self-esteem?
No, I don't think it has, because for me, like, I personally don't care, like, how many likes I get, if people, like, don't like me, if they like me. Like, I don't try and change myself just to get all of that. Like, if you can't like me for me, then you don't need to be in my life, because I won't change for anybody.
This should be.
Yeah, and, like, I could care less about fitting in, because I have a group of friends that accept me for me, and that's all I need in my life. Because if you can't accept me, then that's not my problem.
Facts.
What about you?
Simple.
How has it affected your self-esteem?
My self-esteem, I've always been a shy person, and I don't even think I needed technology for it to be in my life to question myself. Because I just remember being a little girl, because being a little young, technology was around, but it wasn't like we have it today, where like you had Instagram, Facebook at the touch of a button. And it wasn't like that. It was more like you have like the GameCube, you have the TVs and stuff like that, and you sort of just watch it out there. So just being as a little girl, I remember questioning some things about myself. It was like, oh, am I really girly? Because I would see things and I'd be like, that's not what girls like. I'm not like other girls, is what I would think to myself. Because it's like, these girls don't want to come outside and play with me, but the boys do. So I'd be like, all right, so I guess I'm sort of a boy. But at the same time, I'd be like, but I don't want to be a boy. I still want to be feminine. Like, I still want to go, oh, look, it's Cinderella. Let me dress up with her, but it's as her. But at the same time, I still wanted to go, oh, look, let's go run down that hill and see if we'll hurt ourselves. Not as being something toxic. It's just more like, oh, dang, I'm bleeding out of my knee. Let's do it again. Let's go. You know? So, personally, I think technology hasn't really affected me because I didn't have it from the get-go. I had it from, like, middle school. My mother made my first Facebook account. Instagram, I think I made on my own. It had to be somewhere around middle school. And even then, I was just more confused than anything. And I would get likes on my pictures, and I'd be like, why, though? But I don't know. Has it affected my self-esteem? Probably in ways I don't really recognize. Alright. So, how do you think this plays out for other people, though? Like, older, younger?
I feel as they grow up, like, with how it is now, like, I feel like people do try their hardest to, like, fit in, because they feel like if they don't fit in, then, like, they're like, they're like weird. Like, they see themselves as, like, oh, like,
Different?
Yeah. And I feel like now, like, this generation nowadays, like, they think being different is a bad thing, because, like, because they try too hard, and, like, they don't like showing that, all those emotions.
I happen to disagree with you. Actually, I agree and I disagree. Because I definitely know people here who are like, oh, know people in general who are like, oh, you're different. Let me not. I'm going to go hang out with these normal people. And then I'll just be like, all right, peace. And but personally, I'm like, wow, you're different. You're weird. I'm not going to lie. That's literally what I think to myself in my head. I'm like, you know what? I'll be your friend, because I'm weird too. I know it. I'm weird. I'm different. And I know other people just look at me and go, well, she's quiet. She's just a normal person, whatever. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm weird. I talk about some weird stuff. It's just fact.
Sure, do.
You know? It just is. So, you know what? In this question, I really just want to get a perspective that we don't have, because we just aren't it. I want to get a male's perspective in here. So let's get our editor, Lufton Jean Charles, in here. Come on, Lufton. Just for this quick question. So, tell us, do you think social media and technology has affected your self-esteem?
No, sir.
Sir?
Yes. I mean, no.
All right.
No, not at all.
Why?
Because me, at the end of the day, I'm still going to do me. Like, I don't care about anybody's opinion.
All right.
Okay,
Do you
well,
think
what
it has
about...
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, what about growing up?
Yeah.
Growing up, never had a phone until 8th grade. So, I don't think I'm affected at all. I had an iPhone in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, I was still slow to it too. Like, I was barely using it. So, I'm just chilling. At the end of the day, I'm more in real life than online.
Okay, so since you are a guy, and guys tend to act like guys around their own other fellow males. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if we're around a group of people that are extremely similar to ourselves, we're probably gonna be more comfortable with that group.
Mhm.
So since you are a male, please tell us how you think that has affected the male.
Like what you mean, like all being weird and stuff?
About anything, their self-esteem. Do you think, have you noticed that with technology and stuff, men tend to care more or less? They have a certain opinion towards certain things?
I'll say it was for both sides, because we all have insecurities.
That's true.
So it's like the way you attacked it and like what you feel like you're insecure about.
Mm-hmm.
So like some people be like afraid about how they look like in real life, and then like so online they be using filters to change that in their appearance. So, but men, I don't really care what I do or what I say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all game. But
So would you classify yourself as a troll, considering you said it's a
yeah,
game?
pretty much. Like that's what I am.
All right.
Like yeah.
Technology has been effective in our lives.
In our lives, how has it been effective? Well, I mean, it affects us in our everyday use, doesn't it? I don't know about you, but my little sister has an alarm clock, and she has become my alarm clock. But yeah, but she has her iPhone, and she uses it to wake herself up to school. But me, I'm not gonna lie, the first thing I do is look for my phone when I wake up. Is it a bad habit? Probably, definitely. Maybe I should seek help. Let's not talk about it. Anyways, first thing I do is go on my phone and see if I have any notifications. And right there, we have another part where it's helped us. I mean, I could text you straight in the morning and be like, hey, Miranda, how are you? Did I forget to do homework? Do you have a ride to school? Can you give me a ride because I probably missed the bus? We'll see. Technology doesn't just include our phones and the internet, so we can also see technology in the fact that we have a way to get to school. I mean, we have public buses in other countries do too. Some of the less privileged areas don't. We have a way to get to school that's effective and affordable. Technology also helps us in school. I mean, we constantly use computers and stuff like that at school to learn. When I get home to do my homework, if I don't understand something, all it takes is a quick YouTube, Google search. Go watch a video, learn how to do something, make myself a meal, have limited groceries in the fridge. Okay, we'll figure it out. If I don't know, we can find someone else. Thousands of resources at a click of a button. Yeah.
Going back to the whole everyday life thing you said, I feel like I'm the total opposite of that, because me in my life, I hardly have my phone. So when I wake up in the morning, like, it will be nowhere near me. And, like, I'll get up, I'll get dressed, I'll get my stuff ready for school, and it'd be, like, mad late before, like it'll be, like, a couple minutes before I have to go to the bus, and I'll be like, oh my God, I forgot my phone. So I'll have to, like, run and get my phone. And then sometimes I'll end up leaving my phone in the house, because, like, I'm just, like, I've grown used to, like, just not having a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always get my phone taken. So, like I'll just be walking, and then everybody, like, I'll be listening to my music, and then I'll just forget that I'm listening to my music, and be like, oh, let me see your phone. I'll be like, I don't have my phone. They'll be like, it's in your pocket. I'll be like, oh my God, you're right, it is. Like, I don't know. I actually have, like, a radio
Mm-hmm.
in my room that I use for my alarm clock. So, yeah. I just feel like we're two different people.
Maybe in the phone perspective, but I mean,
Yeah.
you still have a radio, you still have the computers at school, you still have the school bus. I mean, it's sort of become a necessity at this point. I mean, so whole way we're recording right now, we have lighting, sound, and equipment.
It's very cool.
Really? All right. So with this in mind and the constant use of technology in our everyday lives, do you think that it's dumbed us down in any way?
A little.
A little?
I should say in, like, more of, like, the schoolwork aspect of it, because, like, when, like, I want to say, like, when in elementary, I hated using the computers in my school, because, like, they were just trash. I'd only go to the books when I looked for information,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, now growing up, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know this answer, I'm gonna go straight to Google, and Google's not always correct. And it'll be, like, for some math questions, too. And like I just don't like using the calculator sometimes. But like I just always go straight to the internet to find the answers to the questions, and like it's just not okay. Like you gotta go old school and like use the book, because if you have a book and you're not gonna use it, what do you have the book for? You should just don't take the book.
I think I have to agree with you. I think it mostly falls on how you use it. Of course, you could look up every single question in the world just through Google, because it's an unlimited resource. But at the same time, you could just look it up, and then you could be like, oh, what? I never thought about that question. Let me click on that. Let me read about that. Let me do some actual investigation instead of just reading the headline and being like, oh, that's probably a fact. Let's move on with that. Like, you could use technology, look up an credible, I want to say that again, because people be looking at memes out of all things and be like, yep, saw it in a meme, it's a fact. But no, you can look at a credible source and go, oh, that's interesting, let me look into it, let me read about it, and go into multiple different sources, not just one, people, not just one, and find out different perspectives, new information, try and reason what the truth might be in our own heads. And then even with just doing that on our own, we could come up with our own reasoning as to why we think we reason that way. I mean, there's a bunch of things that affect the way we think, and I think technology has allowed us to go more in depth as to why we think a certain way about a certain topic. So I think it probably has dumbed some of us down, and it might have enlightened others. All right.
I agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So can we say that it's bad? Like, not whether it has dumbed us down, because I think that should always be a bad thing, considered as a bad thing. But technology, can we come to a conclusion about whether it's bad or if it's good?
I would say it's like 50-50 depending on like how you see it.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
What do you think personally? Or do you just think?
Like, I'm kind of like...
Just kind of there?
Yeah, I'm kind of like in the middle. Like, yeah, technology has some good things about it, some positive things, and then on the other hand, it does have some like bad things as well. Like, can't really like pick or choose because, like, you know.
Well, my perspective is technology is a tool. It's about how people use that tool and what the reasoning behind the creation of the tool is, whether you can classify something as being good or bad. Like, if I made a tool that only destroys things, it's probably not a good tool. It's probably not something that you would classify as good, you know? But if I made a tool that only helped things, then you could classify that as being good. But if you made a tool like the internet that could easily fall into either classifications, then that's where people get confused. Mm-hmm. But personally, I think it's a good thing, because you could you get so many benefits from using it. You can talk to people, you can learn new things. It's something that you can use to level the playing field, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So, with social media in mind, and just technology in general, do you think this has affected how people's empathies for each other? I mean, you have constant ability to see new sources of media and everything. Do you think this has affected us?
From what I've read from research, youth's empathy levels have massively decreased.
According to?
Because
According to who?
Forgot his name. Okay. I'll try and find that out.
Alright.
But yeah, it has massively decreased because of technology. 'Cause like people they just don't care anymore. Like, they don't care how other people feel. Like, some people like only care about themselves, and like they bring others down just so they can feel good about themselves. And like that's just, yeah.
So how has technology itself caused people to not care about? How has technology caused people to want to bring others down?
Because because they feel like powerful, like behind a screen. Like, they can't say it to somebody's face, but they can be able to say it through through
The screen.
The screen, yeah. Like, they have that sense of power. Like, they're like, oh, I can do anything. Like, nobody can tell me what to do. Like, I can do this, that. And, like, and then when it comes to actually face-to-face with the person, they're like, oh, like, no. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, so where I think you're trying to get to is the point that technology allows us to hide ourselves and to put up a persona, just per se. You can pretend to be somebody else, and just for the fact that because you know you can, and they probably won't catch you, and they probably won't put in effort to find out who you really are, and pretend to be someone else, someone who you would idealize as being better or an improved version. So, do I think empathy has affected people because, like, empathy levels affect people because of technology? I mean, I can't say because I wasn't alive back then. I don't know how people would have reacted to certain things. I could probably read about it, but I won't really know. But I remember being in 5th grade once, and my teacher was talking about it, and he was talking about how, I think he said he read or he watched a documentary about how these kids back in the day, they were presented with a big tragedy that happened here. I don't remember what, but some tragedy happened, and there was thousands of deaths because of it, or there's just a lot of people died, right? So the kids were crying about it, even though they had never met them before. And let's move on to present day. I know it's probably extremely messed up, but there's people here who go like, oh, depending on the way they passed away, they might make a joke about it, or they might just read it on the news and be like, yep, another day, and they just move on because they have no personal connection. Because I think people disconnect the fact that on the other side of your screen, or in this like title of a book or newspaper, or just the heading, you could just read, oh, 10 people died from a car accident. You just be like, oh, well, you know what, things happen. And back then, they might have possibly read, like, oh no, 10 people died from a car accident. Maybe there's something wrong with cars. Maybe there's something wrong with the road. Maybe we have to do something about it. That's a lot of people. And nowadays, we're just like, yep, oh well, sad day. And we just don't have that instant connection, because I think we disconnect from the fact that those are other people. Those people had their own lives, their own stories, their own struggles, their own achievements and everything. So I think it probably has. Have I noticed it myself? I can't judge that. I am me. You know? That's someone else has to judge that about me. That's something someone else has to judge. I mean, there's other things I can judge about myself, but that's not one of them. So, okay. So, we got a time limit now. Miranda Hogg has to leave us.
So stay tuned for the next episode of After School Hours.
Part 2. Goodbye.
Boom! You didn't even stop it. Maria!
Okay, save that. We're done. Okay,